reading 18 Puranas, Mahabharata, 180 Upanishads and Brahma Sutras, and 4 Vedas, all that. We just read Srimad Bhagavatam. And we get the final conclusion. Of course, what Bhagavatam also does is not only simplify everything for us and give us the final conclusion, but it also indicates a special object of worship, Krishna, which is not found in the other scriptures. Well, it's there, but it's hidden. And not only Krishna, but Radha and Krishna. So therefore, Bhagavatam is a very special. So this is just a phrase from the Guru the Puran. This composition is exceedingly perfect. It contains the meaning of the Brahma Sutras, it determines the meaning of the Mahabharata, it functions with commentary, the Gayatri, and fortifies the meaning of the Vedas. So the Bhagavatam is very special. So therefore, the Bhagavatam is like, it's non-different from the Supreme Lord, it's like an avatar of the Lord. So the Lord appears in many forms. He appears as a fig, Vatsya. He appears as an animal, like Brahma. He appears as a bird, like Hamsa. Appears as a human being, like Krishna. And he appears as among the Devatas as Upendra Vamana. And he appears in the literary form of Imran Bhagavatam. This is considered to be the crest jewel, the crowning jewel of all literatures. It's the best work of all the scriptures. So, as other religions may have one outstanding work like the Quran or the Bible, we can say Bhagavatam. And we don't have anything to do with saying Vedas, Upanishads, or Puranas. This Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam has some rather unique characteristics apart from glorifying Krishna. One is it is quite inclusive and quite liberal in its definition of God. So around the world, the different religions will try to describe God, and they come up with a certain conception of God. So each religion will have a conception of who God is. So in Islam, Christianity, is that's not conception of God. It's slightly different. And we come to India and the Vedas, also so many conceptions of God. So the Bhagavatam gives us a unified approach to who is God. So we get God at the most basic level, something eternal and something conscious. Brahman. No form, no quality. So that is accepted as part of God. We get another perception of God as Atma. He has a form. He has some activity. What does he do? He creates the material. He maintains the material. He destroys the material. Some activity. He witnesses everything. He's full of knowledge. Second conception. Then we have the third conception of God, Bhagavan. This is God with a form like Paramatma, but more qualities and more activities. He does not create the material world and destroy the material world. He actually enjoys pastime with his devotees. And he manifests all sorts of wonderful qualities. So this is Bhagavan. So we have 3 broad conceptions of God. As Vaishnavas, we worship Bhagavan. Most religions are in the Brahman sphere, a little bit of Paramatma. A few qualities, a few activities. God is the creator of the material world. But he has no form. So he's halfway between Brahman and Paramatma. And this is the general conception of God around the world. Not incorrect. So Bhagavatam accepts that God is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. All 3. But nevertheless, realization of Bhagavan. And therefore, it's better known. And of course, Bhagavan have many forms. And the highest form with the most quality manifested is. So this is the all the Bhagavatam is liberal, and at the same time gives us the highest conception of God. So very, very special. So this, of course, is mentioned here. This popularly read scripture has the quality of absolute entity Brahman and is comparable to a lamp. So what does a lamp do? It gives some light. Yeah. So Bhagavan gives us knowledge that you're not the body, you're not the soul, whatever, and greater than the material world of this. So this gives elementary knowledge about spirituality, the Brahman aspect. So Krishna himself and the Bhagavatam present this aspect of Brahman, something spiritual, not material. And from understanding this, we get deliverance from misery. That's of course represented here in this particular verse here. Adhyatma Deepam. Adhyatma, of course, means Brahman. So the Bhagavatam is a lamp to reveal Brahman to us. So, and from this we can cross the material samsara, the ocean of samsara. So in the Bhagavatam, there's another example here that Krishna and Bhagavatam are like the sun. And this is, of course, in the second, in the first chapter of Bhagavatam chapter. And then Puran Arko. This Purana is like the sun. Sun is also a light, but it's a bigger light than all of them. So the Bhagavatam gives more knowledge about God, not just elemental knowledge of God, the spiritual, the eternal, all pervading, full knowledge. More than that. So, therefore, Bhagavatam is like the sun. Yeah. So, when we get more knowledge, not only do we get deliverance from suffering, ignorance of the material world, we're able to destroy all sorts of misconceptions propagated by atheists and demons. And more knowledge gives more joy to us. So Bhagavatam describes all sorts of forms of Lord, avatars, is a detail. There's a third comparison. Bhagavan and Krishna are the fruit of the desired tree of the Vedas. So the Vedas are compared to a desired tree because by learning the Vedas, getting the knowledge, practice, you can fulfill all your desires. Material desires, this karma kanda, desire for liberation, yeah, and higher fruit than that, go to the spiritual world, realize Bhagavan. So all of that's revealed in the Vedas. But then there's a very special fruit at the top of the tree. And that is Bhagavan. It's a very special scripture which gives a special fruit. And this fruit is the sweetest fruit with no skin and no seed. You don't even have to chew it. You drink it. So that is Bhagavan. So why is it the special fruit, the highest fruit of the desired things? One, it reveals Madhurya Rasa more than other scriptures. None of our famous are the descriptions of the Rasa Lila and the water. We don't find such a complete description. We do find description of pastime in Vishnu Puran and Brahma Puran. Nonsense. So here we get this description of the Rasa Lila, which is the very essence of Madhurya Rasa. So this is a speciality of the body. It reveals this Madhurya Rasa, the love of Krishna devotees. And in fact, we get Radha and Krishna to the Bhagavatam. Again, special. And then the process to realize Radha and Krishna. That's what makes Bhagavatam. Not revealed in the name. So, Bhagavatam reveals the basic knowledge about Brahman and Karma, etc. Also reveals all the aspects of Bhagavan, and then but finally it reveals Madhurya Rasa, Radha Krishna, and the process. So this is very specific. There's a fourth analogy. Bhagavatam is like Mohini avatar. So what does Mohini mean? Bewildering. Yeah, my bewilders. So Mohini avatar is a particular avatar of the Lord. Female to bewilder the demons. So the Devatas went to Vishnu and complained that the Devatas had stolen the nectar after they turned the milk ocean. Got the nectar, the Devatas lost it, the demons got it. And if they take the nectar, then no one can really kill them because they drink the nectar and they're strong. So then the Devatas were all depressed, thought they were going to lose everything. So they went to Vishnu and complained. So Vishnu took the form of Mohini. Mohini came to the demons. And when the demons saw Mohini, what happened? They all fell in love with Mohini. And then Mohini spoke. They were all overcome. And the demons asked, what do you want? And Mohini says, the nectar. So the demons, because they were bewildered, they gave the nectar to Mohini. And Mohini took the nectar, gave the demons. So in this way, Mohini stole the nectar from the demons. So Mohini, the Bhagavatam is like Mohini because it hides the nectar from the demons and the materialists and gives that nectar to them. So we're involved in access the sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we're materialists or demon, we don't appreciate that. So this way the Bhagavatam is open for everybody, but nevertheless, if you got the wrong mentality, you cannot appreciate it. So in this way, Bhagavatam actually is a science literature, and it's explaining things as simply as possible, but it also has a function of bewildering. So if you're not careful, then you get bewildered by the statements of Bhagavatam. Here's a statement from the 12th canto. From beginning to end, Srimad Bhagavatam is full of the Lord's pastimes which give bliss to the devotees, endowed with the sense of renunciation. This Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedanta philosophy, because its subject matter is one Brahman, a substance with no duality. The main goal of the work is merging. So this is in the concluding section of Bhagavatam, and Sukadeva is speaking. So the impersonalists and the mind bodies, when they read this, will say, "This is very nice. This is what we always say. This is the conclusion of all the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras and Shankaracharya's philosophy. Finally, only oneness exists. Advaita. And then, of course, the devotees may become confused. Why is Sukadeva saying this? So, actually, after this, Pariksha, hearing this, becomes very angry and he rejects this, as this is not true. And the whole idea is this is meant to hide things and also to test Pariksha, and then he actually passes the test by rejecting it and not nonsense. So, in other words, the Bhagavatam and scripture in general can sometimes hide the meaning of things. This characteristic of hiding the meaning is called Paroshavada. And that's described in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam by the Lord. The Vedas divided into three divisions, ultimately the worship of the Lord. It's the temple. However, Vedic seers and the mantras say this indirectly. They don't always say things in direct sense. Somewhat do, since they know that I prefer this. So therefore, in scriptures, you're never often not going to get the direct meaning. Things that will be somewhat hidden, and we have to look for it. And so we have to be careful when we read scripture. Now, Bhagavad, of course, is much more clear, but even that, statements are there which tend to bewilder people also. And it's there to hide the meaning of materials. But that's why we do have commentaries by clarifying. For instance, just in the first verse of Bhagavatam, our acharyas, they get five different meanings, completely different meanings out of that verse. The general meaning, one all about Krishna and his pastimes, getting rescued from Kamsa's prison, etc. Another on Madhurya Rasa, and with the gopis, one on Radha Krishna, and one on the process of Bhagavad. Get all of these meanings out of Bhagavad that we search for it. So, another aspect of Bhagavatam is it has 10 subject matters. So these are mentioned at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Yeah? So we get Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshna, Uti, Manvantara, Vichanukata, Niroda, Mukti, and Asa. 10 topics. So these topics are in common with other Mahapurans. We have the 10 topics. So, first topic is Sarga, or creation. This is the creation where Mahavishnu glances over Prakriti and then manifests all the material elements which then form into universes. All Sarga is largely described in the third canto. The second topic is Visarga, where in the material universe, Brahma appears from the navel of Vishnu, and then he creates planets, or places, and bodies for the living entities. So there must be, the jivas have to have bodies, and then the bodies have to exist in the place. So Lord Brahma supplies the bodies and the places for the living entities. That's Visarga. So those places are described in the fifth canto of Bhagavatam, and that's called Sthana or Sthiti. So the Bhagavatam describe how there is Mount Meru in the middle of Jambudvip and all the other dvipas, and all the oceans, and above we got Svargaloka, Mahajanakapa, Satyaloka on top, and then we got the lower planets that we pop up. So all of this is called Sthana, or geography. Places created by Brahma under the direction of the Lord, so that living entities can enjoy in different places according to their gunas. So the Lord arranges for creation of the material world, putting the jivas there so they can enjoy somehow. But the Lord does not abandon the jivas. So in the sixth canto, there is a subject, Poshana, how the Lord protects the devotees. And that is illustrated through the story of Ajamil. So simply the name of the Lord gives protection, even if you don't chant it with devotion. So Ajamil got protected from the Amadutas because he chanted the name of I am. So the Lord is present in the material world in his name. Of course, he comes as avatar, but in many ways, he does not leave the world unattended. He is trying to help the living. So this material world is full of all these different jivas and in different planetary systems, and they're all subjected to different gunas. Generally, on top we get sattva guna, middle we get raja guna, and the bottom of the universe we get not within the, we get mixtures everywhere. So on account of these mixtures of gunas, generally we get a division of personality, demons and devotees within the universe. And the upper part is generally the devas, the devotees, and the lower part of the demons. But nature of the material world is disturbance. So therefore there's a conflict between the devas and the demons fighting. And sometimes the demons get powerful and they penetrate into Svargaloka and go off there, even up the Brahmaloka sometimes. and then sometimes they get pushed down again, and the order is restored. But generally, the Lord sides with the devas, the devotees, so that their stability with the neighbors, and the common good is not different. The Lord has another way of helping the living. So in the 8th canto, we have a description of Manu and the descendants. So in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus appearing every 70 yuga cycles, 71 yuga cycles. And they start a dynasty of kings. So Manu and his descendants are empowered by the Supreme Lord like the Deva to rule over the world of human beings and establish Dharma and establish law. There's another way in which the Lord gives some protection. The 9th canto deals with Ishanupaka, topics about the Lord and his devotees. Particularly there we get some avatars and we get Ramchandras. So the Lord also comes in the third role with various avatars, the form of Sarmadev and Ramchandra to help the people and stabilize the universe. One of the goals of the Lord is to get the jivas out of the material world so they can go for mukti, liberation, which is one aspect of the Lord. That's described in 11th canto. 12th canto, we get a description of destruction. Where the Lord creates the universe, enters into the universe, perfects the devotees in the universe, comes as avatar within the universe. Ultimately, universe is material, so it gets destroyed. So that's called new road destruction. And of course, this happens repeatedly over and over. 12th canto. So the 10th topic is called Asraya, the supreme shelter or the supreme cause. And that is Krishna, and he's describing the 10th canto. So this way, we get all the topics covered. Right? And all in relation to Krishna, the shelter of everything that's described. So we have 3rd canto, which is Sarga, and 12th canto, Nirodha, destruction. That gives us like the general power of God, greater and stronger, like the lamp. Yeah? And then we get all of these other cantos from 4th canto, 5th canto. It's got the other topics, Sarga, Visarga, Sthiti, Portanaruti, Manakara, Oh, that's all the sun, like the sun. Bhagavata was like the sun. And then the fruit of the tree, the 3rd analogy is Krishna and the 10th canto. So this way we get all these different topics. But ultimately everything revolves around us. So the 10th canto is actually the center of the Bhagavatam because it describes all about Krishna, his form, qualities, and activities. And through that we can get an attraction for worshiping Krishna and chanting his name. So the Asraya is the most important. And all the other topics are steady from it. So when we read Bhagavatam, we should not get too confused by all these different topics like creation and self-creation, etc. There's different avatars, different personalities, and devas doing all these different things. Ultimately, all their power is coming from the Asraya. So that's how we understand Bhagavatam. Okay. So why is Bhagavatam have so many topics? If you go to Bhagavatam, you'll see Kapila Dev describing in detail all about Karma Yoga. And then 11 canto again, Krishna discusses all the details of all the varnas and the ashrams, etc. So all this Karma Yoga gets discussed, as in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Then, of course, you get yoga described by Kapila Dev and also by Krishna again. Krishna tells you about 22 cities you can get in both. So we get so many topics, and it looks like too many topics. But in answer to that, we can say that various people are attracted to various things. And therefore, Bhagavatam likes to attract minds of different people. At the same time, we understand that when all of these different methods and things are described, it doesn't mean they're the ultimate recommendation. They're there just like karma yoga is described in Bhagavad. There are people who are not so nice. But at least they get attracted to Bhagavad this way. And later on they hear about the difference. But in any case, Bhagavatam manifests many things for many people. Just like Krishna manifests many rasas for many people. So we have this famous verse in the 10th canto, where Krishna goes into Kamsa's arena. We have all sorts of people seeing Krishna. And they all see him differently, even though he's only one person. Because they have different impressions, different attractions. So the rest of saw Krishna like a lightning bolt. Lightning bolt is very tough. And so when they were fighting with Krishna, Krishna could not be injured in any way. So he was a very fitting opponent for the warriors, the wrestlers. So this is actually an expression of Virya Rasa, the fighting. The men of Mathura saw Krishna as the best of males, and they expressed astonishment. This is Adbhuta Rasa. The young women of Mathura saw Krishna as Cupid, and they fell in love with Mathura Rasa, just like the gopis, the women of Mathura, fell in love with Krishna. So they were very different from the wrestlers who just saw Krishna. The cowherd boys saw him as their relative and friend, and Sakirasa, and they joked with him. That's Hasirasa. Because they were also not afraid of the wrestlers. Just joking. The impious rulers were the friends of Kamsa, saw Krishna as a chastiser, and they looked at him and looked like Krishna was very angry, punishing them. This is called Rodra Rasa, anger rasa. Vasudeva Devaki saw him as their child, small, delicate child. And when they saw him with the wrestlers, they said, "This is not fair at all." So, wrestlers are so big. Wrestlers are tough. Krishna is very tender. So they express their Vatsalya Rasa and Karuna Rasa. Kamsa saw Krishna as death. Fear Rasa, Bhayanak Rasa. The unintelligent, particularly the priests of Kamsa, saw Krishna as a material body. And they looked at Krishna with disgust because we have blood from the elephant on the body. They said, "Oh, this Krishna is so impure. He's appearing before Kamsa, the king, in an impure state." It was very disgusting. Those are the Vivatsaras. The yogis saw Krishna as the absolute truth. Shantaras. And the Rishi saw him as a worshipful being in Dasirasa. So one Krishna is there, but different people see him differently in 12 different rasas. So Bhagavad knows like that. Different people see Bhagavad in different ways. They have different ideas. So that's the nature of Krishna. That's the nature of Bhagavad. We can see it in many different ways. But of course, the devotees should see the ultimate nature. So everything, the devotees should see everything in relation to Bhakti and in relation to Krishna. And that resolves all of the seeming contradictions. So just as there are different methods, like Kama Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Stanga Yoga, they're only steps towards Bhakti Yoga. And they're not the recommended process. But for people who don't have any faith, they can practice those things. So the devotees will see Bhagavad in one way as a glorification of Krishna. Other people will have many other meanings to Bhagavad. So we don't have to talk about that. That's the bewildering statement. So when we read Bhagavatam, therefore, we should really understand the purpose of it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Bhagavatam as the main push, as I explained. Some may think taking the essence of Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, Vedas, Puranas, Mahabharata. And principally, of course, because it describes the sweet activities of Krishna. Following the Goswamis also generally concentrated on Bhagavad. So Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami wrote commentaries of the temple. There was one follower, Srinath Chakravarti. He wrote a commentary, a whole one. Later on, Krishna Chakravarti wrote the laws of effort was concentrated on Srimad Bhagavatam. Then, of course, Sanatana Goswami wrote Brihad Bhagavatamrita to get the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam and show that the highest devotees of the gopis. So, the tendency is to concentrate on Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, that's the why we have Bhagavatam class every day. And that's why Srila Prabhupada devoted so much time to translating commentating Bhagavatam. He started in India and had a few volumes in the first canto. He took to America with him. And when he was in America, then he started translating the other things. So it was a great labor him to translate Bhagavatam because this is the authoritative scripture for our movement. Most religious movements from India do not have any scripture. They speak, but no, they don't refer to any scripture. On the contrary, we're the opposite. We give all these scriptures, the Bhagavatam, so many others. We have many authoritative living. So why we need our literature? Because Bhagavatam particularly, no. This knowledge is not jnana like anybody. This is part of Bhakti struggle. So they spoke Bhagavatam. So it's strong process. So though the main activity for us is Nam Sankirtan, if the kirtan is to get us to Krishna Prema, we need proper knowledge. And therefore, that's why we have the Bhagavad. They give us the knowledge necessary. Okay. Anyway. It's just on in the pipe.
Thank you very much for that. Maharaj, you were mentioning in the beginning that the Vedas are repeated after every universe.
Yeah.
So universe, does that mean after every inundation, every time it inundates, at the end of the Brahma's life? It's like that, or?
Yeah. So everything disappears, all the universes disappear, everything merges into property. But then the universe is created again. Master glasses. And then Brahma appears, Vedas appear again. Same Veda. He doesn't write it. So the same Veda appears again and again and again with no author. So the Veda is eternal. Whereas Veda writes Mahabharata in Brahmas. So they have historical beginning of the universe.
So each universe has their own different pastime of writing this.
Puranas.
Puranas.
Yeah. Vedas appears and then he writes the Puranas. He writes the Mahabharata.
And every universe will have Mahabharata.
Yeah, because Krishna will appear and Vedas appear. Vedas right.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for wonderful session and taking us through the entire creation. And especially, I love that bewilderment, that morning, like how Bhagavatam reveals to the devotees. Maharaj, when you're talking about the creation part, so sometimes when we heard about the Big Bang, we just refuse it because something cannot come just by chance or something like that. But when we go to creation part, like from the nose of Mahavishnu, inhale and exhale, entire universe comes. So it's become very difficult to put so much faith because so Maharaj, how we can understand that? So he try to understand.
Well, in one sense, we can say it's metaphorical. At the same time, we shouldn't think it's imaginary. So when it says Mahavishnu glances, it doesn't mean he has to use his eyes exactly because that means his will. So simply by the will of the Lord, Prakriti starts to get disturbed and it manifests the Guna Sattva Mahatattva, that everything after that first agitation just starts to take place like a chemical reaction. So everything is created from the Lord and merges into the Lord. That's the basic idea in there. So exhaling and getting, which means everything is dependent on the Supreme Lord. Why he's a big Vishnu form flying on a snake I cause a lotion. We don't know. It's difficult for us to conceive of that. But we can't even conceive of spiritual form itself. And spiritual form has no signs. So big or small is also insignificant. But in comparison to us, obviously it's huge because all the universes are like little bubbles and pores and the skin or whatever. They can enter and grow out of with like little atoms. So one is to show that the Lord contains everything and he's in charge of everything. So without his will, manifestation and destruction of things. So in modern scientific theory, which is all 50, they have some creation of the bang or whatever things come here. But they cannot explain what was before the Big Bang. So then some of them describe this whole thing. There's a Big Bang, the universe is created, and they all go back together. And there's a little bang and they all come out. They go back again. So this is like Mahavishnu breathing in and out. Creation is not eternally. So this is some scientists are accepting this. It's not this one time the universe Big Bang was created. No, it's repetitive. Many scientists will say that. Apart from that, when we get to quantum physics, then consciousness somehow becomes as part of the so that's not a small. It cannot be explained as consciousness. But we can take that on to the largest level also to explain how does the Big Bang take place. There must be a consciousness behind that also. So therefore we get that Supreme Lord who's in charge of, and by his will the material universe manifest destroyed. So science itself, to some degree, is coming close to the idea that there is consciousness behind the whole. Now they can never conclude about a form, whether it's Krishna or not. Scientific theory will never get to the level where it can prove that the specific form, but at least there's something conscious there, which is bigger than us. Not much they can. Well, that's not much similarity.
Even Paramatma aspect, they can understand. Because they come to the understanding of Paramatma.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit less than Paramatma because we haven't before. So something like religions, like Christianity, God is there, creates the material world, destroys the material world, but he has no form. So it's a little bit almost off the Paramatma, but not quite, because there's no form. So science also will go in that direction probably. There's some degree of consciousness there, but we're not gonna give it up.
Thank you so much for the session. In the Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna says to Arjuna, Chaitanya Vishaya Veda Nityaitanya Bhagavad Gita. And he writes about this Vedic this thing because they got all these different Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and all that, previous ignorance. But then, like in Srimad Bhagavatam is a theme of all the basic pages. It also talks about the fight of the dharma. I couldn't really understand and we also categorize the Puranas as more of demons, more of passions, and more of ignorance. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, as you mentioned, different people can also derive different things, from it,
Yeah. So, the Puranas with Sattva Puranas, the Vedas, the Karma Kanda, Kanda, and even the Bhagavatam presents Karma Yoga, admit that for people that don't have faith, but therefore not practice bhakti, at least do one of the other processes. If you don't do anything, then you're really focused. So if you can't do anything, at least satisfy your material desires by following some rules. So in that sense, it's there for people. At the same time, it's obvious from Bhagavatam that all that's protected of cheating dharma. It's all kind of a dharma. And even again, Ganda is kind of a dharma because it doesn't accept all. So it's there, it's presented at the same time. Same in Bhagavatam. Karma Yoga again. So if we're intelligent, we can understand that. If we're less intelligent, we can get off.
And how it's important for us to these Bhagavatam on a daily basis and keep that as one of the important sadhana of reading Srimad Bhagavatam or reading Srimad Bhagavatam in our life. Now we can transform.
Well, as much as possible in sadhana, we try to do practices regularly, whether it's daily or not. Maybe not your situation, but if you can do regularly, daily fine, it's very good. If you can, at least do every, that's it, every week or a few times a week or whatever. But sadhana means some regularity in the practice. And that way you can stay. So the study about Shravana, as I said, is important because without the proper knowledge, we get misdirected in who is Krishna and what is the goal, etc. So when we're chanting, we're trying to get prema, but if we don't have the knowledge behind it, then we may lose track of the goal.
This is a very common question for the devotees. Why the initiation is so complex and so long process?
Oh, it's well, I gave a lecture a few days ago. But our process has kind of evolved in that way over many years. Prabhupada was very simple. Yeah. Sometimes just the initiation like that. Sometimes it was maybe maximum 6 months. And the second they gave 6 months. 1 year you got second initiation. And the ceremony is very simple. Nowadays, of course, it may be longer, maybe how many years, 5 years, 10 years.
4 years maybe.
Yeah. According to the guru, maybe it's 10 years, who knows? So maybe a very long time, and it has a few exams. Maybe you need Bhakti Shastri for the second days. So different gurus are good. Those become quite complex. And one reason is that some of the initiating gurus get a little disappointed after they initiate people, then somebody don't stay around and disappear. So this is why I should initiate people if they can disappear after 3 years. What's the use? Yeah. So which means there's maybe not all those people that are initiating are qualified for initiation. But then the question being asked, well, why are they striving for something? Well, that's the question.
Yeah, but at the same time, we are losing the actual real devotees where they are going to the devotional path. We are losing the merit devotee rather
Yeah.
than
So-
devotee mindset is to complete within a short time, like in 2 years or 1 year.
Yeah.
We are losing those kind of people.
Yes, so what I'm saying is that maybe the emphasis upon the initiation or diksha is not properly true. Because you're setting higher standards and then people cannot follow the standards and therefore they realize make a longer period of waiting. Hoping that you're gonna last longer after you get initiated because they fear you're gonna also open up. So it's like a vicious circle until we get longer and longer periods because more people falling. So maybe the idea is not so much people should be interested or their ambition should not be diksha if they're not capable. But they should have some ambition and they should reach some level of steadiness. But that is not defined in this God, so therefore they just go for that one level and it's too high for them and then they fall back down later on and then they go to this one straight and they do one. So instead of that, maybe we should have another system for people, which is kind of like Diksha, but lower standard, and at least they're accepted as an official member just on that thing. Otherwise, the only way they get accepted is to take initiation.
Yeah.
To become a member recognized. So therefore they're forced to come up to that level. And then they do it, but then they're not able to do that for all that.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So maybe we have to have some other system which they can aspire for, which is for less, and they can follow steadily without having to.
What about the self-employment?
It's something like that, yeah. So that's emphasized more, that'll be more official, and the people get recognized for that, bona fide member of that stage, and that's good, Prabhupada aspires.
Like a foundation, intermediate, and advanced levels. We need to have similar kind of stuff where the common devotee is not moving to the another, what I called, we are getting the devotees from all the and all the different countries, right? So they may frustrate, they may, give up because of the various nature of complexity. We need to have a retro in that. That's what my.
So we could have a simple stage level, which everybody aspires for. If they want to go further, then they go next stage, they may wait longer.
Like Mata, you said we need to have a, Bhagavatam daily or regular reading. We all kind of stuff where that feed into different stages. Yeah.
And the pastimes which are making the Srimad Bhagavatam, and they're all the pastimes that happened in the Europe after this particular in this particular life of Brahma, there's a difference.
Yeah.
For
What's in Bhagavatam, generally what's in this universe, in this stage, and the 28th Yuga cycle, Krishna appears. Some of the other Puranas may mention things from other days of Brahma or whatever. So there may be some differences, like in Harivamsa or something like that. Or even Mahabharata. But generally, in what's in Bhagavatam, we have those activities that took place in this particular day of Brahma. But of course, it's not all of the activities because it's impossible to describe all of the activities. So it's not giving you every single and all the details of each either. Some of the details and most of it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Then I ask. So while we chant Maharaj, how can we include Bhagavatam or the Leelas or the qualities of other devotees or what Krishna likes me? How can we take that and while doing chanting, can we remember any of those pastimes?
Oh, yeah. Well,
how can we become better devotees?
Yeah. When we chant, of course, we hear the name, but we cannot separate the name from Krishna and its form, its qualities, and activities, and we do it very impersonal. If it's just a sound with doesn't represent anything, it's like You attain Krishna, you attain Brahman. So the whole purpose of Bhagavatam is to give us a meaning to that word Krishna. So Krishna has a particular form, and he has qualities and activities. So when we say the word Krishna, all that should somehow be invoked and give us a little devotional in chant Krishna, or calling out to a king. And so it should become very personal. If we want to express, unconditional love for Krishna, how we can do that unless we know something about his wonderful qualities and activities. So it should help us in chanting with devotion.
How should we learn the qualities of devotees through examples of other devotees?
Qualities of devotion.
How to implement within our life, spiritual life, to acquire those qualities or get rid of impurities. How can we practically?
Of course, the nature of bhakti is to destroy all the bad qualities and all the anartha, destroy all the bad qualities. Or Vaishagni, literally. And the other aspect of bhakti that manifests in sadhana is to develop good spiritual qualities. So we have the list of qualities of devotees given in scripture. So these qualities begin to manifest automatically with the progress of bhakti, as the negative qualities of material life are destroyed. So the two things happen on. Right. What's ashraya? Ashraya means shelter. Just like a house is a shelter. So when it's too cold, you come in the house, you get shelter and you keep warm. Or if it's raining out, you don't like the rain, you come in the house, it shelters you from the rain. So Krishna is the shelter of everything. He's the protector of everything. Shelter also means he's the cause.
Are Vishnu and Mahavishnu different?
Mahavishnu means the great Vishnu. It usually refers to that form, what we call Karma Vishnu, who glances over Prakriti and starts the material creation. So that person we call Mahavishnu. And then other Vishnu forms, maybe in the spiritual world. Yeah, so this month is considered very special, particularly Purnima, by gifting a Bhagavatam that day you get very special. We don't like to speak of Purnima because that's material. So it's good for your spiritual effects. A very good inspiration for you spiritually if you gift the Bhagavatam day. Of course, you can do it any year, but then it's about reporting a specific.
Any more questions from anyone?
So, like when you get initiation, you need to do 16 rounds of chanting. Why not 8 or 21? Is there any reason behind that?
No. Well, that's because Prabhupada established that particular number for a first initiation. Like in Gaudiya Math, they don't. It'll be 4 rounds or 2 rounds. Prabhupada makes higher standard.
Is there any Krishna sciences? We talk our body of our sciences when you chanting 15 times.
Anyone?
Krishna science and our biological body science.
Oh.
Is there any connection between 16 rounds? Might be something I'm predicting.
Yeah, well, a number of rounds is maybe a way of just regulating our system. It doesn't have to be 16, 50, 32, or 64, whatever, or 4, 8, whatever. By counting, we get some regularity in our practice of chanting. But of course, besides that, is the quality of it.
That's right.
which is very important also, so that also has to be taken into consideration. So we cannot just consider. Otherwise it becomes an artificial. All of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Shall we all express our gratitude to Maharaj by saying three big Hari Bol?
Haribol! Haribol! Haribol!
Wonderful opportunity today. Maharaj is with us. You can get a special blessings and get the Bhagavatam said from Maharaj's hand. So if so many wonderful things Maharaj shared with us today. I hope someone is inspired here. Either you can sponsor the Bhagavatam if you already have, or you can take a Bhagavatam for yourself, or you can gift it for your friends or families. Because Bhadra Purnima is just this Sunday, 7th of September. So you can take a copy, or on that auspicious day, you can give us a gift. Even within the family, like you can give us a gift to your children. You know, sometimes it is given as um, sometimes it even for the people who have already left the world, some on their name also we can offer this Bhagavatam. So there are many ways we can do it. If anyone is inspired, you can come and then take the Bhagavatam from Maharaj's hands. So this opportunity is available only today. So please grab it. Or you would like to sponsor, also you can come and take measurements. Oh yeah, we have some devotees online in Zoom. Even if you would like to, make a sponsor, or you would like to have a copy, please do put it in the chat and we can call out your name. And anyone here assembled who would like to sponsor a Bhagavatam or take a set, please do take a set. Maharaj would be very pleased. At least one set today. And I know many of them have already taken, so but today being special, at least one set, anyone can take. We will notice. So who is bringing the set Bhagavatam set? And now they have even reduced the amount also. So it now they reduced. Even 150 they are giving now. Today special.
Wow, let's get it.
Today special. It is actually 199. And but today you can get it for 150.
Do we have that donation
So anyone devotees, please feel today is the only option. Tomorrow it will be again 199.
Let's take it.
So today only this opportunity. So please grab it, and most importantly, Maharaj is here, so it will be very nice. Yeah, we have another opportunity also. If someone in your family back in India wants to do this, or any relatives you want to reach it, that is only 108. So that also that opportunity is also available. You can sponsor for the Bhagavatam sets in India, that will go to all the rural places and they will place this Bhagavatam. That's also an opportunity. Anyone here? Sponsor.
Haribol!
Wonderful. 3 big Haribols for Shilpi Mandali.
Haribol! Haribol!
One and distributed also many Bhagavatam, and it's so wonderful that it's very inspiring. Mataji, please come. Thank you so much. So far we have done very fine.
I have a
He bol. We'll be collecting some Lakshmi as well from Maharaj. So one more.
One more Bhagavatam, Prabhu, Rasana of Prabhu and the team of devotees want to sponsor for India. And get blessings from them. Three big Haribols, dear devotees.
Haribol, Haribol. Light jala diya. Prabhu, switch on the lights. Light. No need pen, no need.
प्रभु फोटो ले लीजिए प्रोग्राम का एक फोटो ले लीजिए पहले के लोग चले आई एम टेकिंग जूम कॉल
Haribol. Haribol. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Plate.
Yeah, Mike.
माइक उसी में
Yes, sir.
इसको मत तोड़ो
Sorry, last year what we have done is we sponsored Harvard set in my childhood school. And you know how happy they were. Even my principal, who was I was not in contact for many years. He was very impressed. And he was inspired that they got a. Normally we give funds, lot of other donations. But when he saw Bhagavatam set coming to the school, he was very happy and he was very much touched and was inspired also. So even this Bhagavatam set what he just sponsored. Going to school in India as well.
Yes.
See a big difference actually. It's a school or a college or anywhere, because I personally felt that difference, and that's why we are taking this year also. So if anyone has anything like that, please do take.
Yeah.
Great inspiration for back from India also. Thank you very much.
Haribol.
You can restrict it in India.
In India also, yes.
Yeah, various languages. Even languages we can do that.
So we have some Bhagavatam sets also at home now. If anyone wants to take, just you can't give now. No problem. You can pay on Sunday. So you can pay pledge if you want to sponsor one Bhagavatam. As Madhuri said earlier, two devotees also cannot. So let us know by today or by Sunday.
Put some money first. One
One
more Bhagavatam set. Haribol.
also going to last year Bhagavatam sent to an orphanage in India. So it was a big plus again for them as well. So it can be any place. Just come forward. It can be orphanage, home age, or it can be anywhere. School, college.
So we all say three big Haribols. Also, one more thing which I would like to say is not because I personally remember one story I got in that is something. I mean, the realization, the regularity, or whatever it is. You can see a difference.
Yes, it's for the program. Oh, happy birthday. I was in India. I could not come to your birthday. You're going to school tomorrow? लंग्स के बीच में हवा और पानी भर गया लंग तो नहीं होती तो बांधने का नहीं तो क्या बोलते हैं करने को वैक्यूम करके वो हवा निकालना है मतलब कैसे गया तो जरा ये इन्फेक्शन बहुत बढ़ गया था
तो साहब के लिए दो फोन दीजिए।
अरे उठो उठो अरे उठो उनको देना है मोबाइल
पूरा टाइम लग रहा है।
No, it's like entrance exam.
Only 11 plus.
11 प्लस बच्चा 11 प्लस उसको स्पेशल आशीर्वाद मिल रहा है